All right, looks like we are live. I'll give it just a second for some people to join and make sure we're working on Facebook. All right, looks like we are just about set. So we will go ahead and get started.
Perfect.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Jamie Chavez. I'm the president and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce. And thanks for joining us today. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. Special welcome to you for being here today. If you're on Facebook, you can like and follow our page for future notifications. And if you're on YouTube, you can hit subscribe. You can watch previous broadcasts there as well. And we also offer broadcasts on Monday, which are about city updates. So we talk to mayors, city councilors, and key city staff. So tune in on Mondays at 11 for your chance to see what's going on down at City Hall. As you watch the broadcast this morning, please feel free to engage with us. Drop any comments that you have, any questions, or simply say hello in the comment section, and we will get them during the interview. And now, finally, a warm welcome to Mandy Tracy with Modern Woodmen of America. How are you today?
I'm doing good, Jamie. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to have you on the show today.
Yeah, good to be here. I'm excited to chat a little bit.
Yeah, so tell us about yourself and tell us about how you ended up with Modern Woodmen and what you all do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I actually moved to Colorado back in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic, right when it started. Moved from Ohio. I was in the casino industry, had a job here, came out, was going to be up in Blackhawk. With the pandemic, that casinos were a little weird. Some were open and then they closed, and then so it was a little strange. And I had a friend who used to work in the casinos who started in finance and let me know all about a company. It was not Modern Woodmen, but it let me know about a company that it was corporate, but they would put me through all of my licensing, kind of get me through it. Did that for a few years. It was corporate finance. I'll say that.
Okay.
I did my job there, did my time there. What I tried to do to really get my feel goods while I was there is I joined the board of directors that they had for the community service and their community impact. It was still very much controlled by our home office, which was in Charlotte, and Charlotte didn't know what was happening in Denver. They don't know what we need, what we do. It was really just who they saw might need sponsorships is really what it was. So they made an announcement, the company I worked for made an announcement a few years back that they were closing their Denver office, and we had the choice to work out a few years and get laid off and take a severance package, or we could move to Texas. I didn't want to do either one of those. So I started looking for some other places, and that's where I kind of found Modern Woodmen and fell onto Modern Woodmen here. So I'm the managing partner here with Modern Woodmen and have a small team and a firm up here. And my office is in Westminster. But really the biggest draw that brought me to Modern Woodmen and what it does here is it is a fraternal financial organization. So the fraternal side is community service, community impact, and community give back. And it's in a way that I get to choose. So that's really what brought me here, and what brought me to Modern Woodmen is not only can I help individuals, families, small businesses build financial security, protection, plan for retirement, create strategies. I can do all of that, which is where my passion lies, is that financial education piece of it. But I also get to give back to the community in an impactful way that I know needs to be done. I can work with local businesses and nonprofits and organizations and find out what they really need to really give back in a meaningful way.
Yeah, that's amazing. So what do you enjoy most about that, about helping like individuals and families plan for their financial future?
It's definitely the education piece. I think it's almost that aha moment of someone realizing like, oh, I don't have to make $1 million to save for retirement. I don't have to, it's not too late. I can start little, and I can start now, and any little bit I put away will help. So just those moments of people realizing that it's not, it's not just for the wealthy, and it's not just for, the people who own the corporations. It can be for the small business owners, and it can be for the individual families, and everybody has that same opportunity, and just being able to provide people that education behind it.
Awesome. So for someone who's never heard of Modern Woodmen of America, how would you describe what you do?
I'll definitely, my passion piece is always that fraternal side. So the community impact. So when people hear Modern Woodmen, I think I get are you guys woodworkers? What do you guys do? Like I get those questions are like, what is that? So that really gets, yeah, it's just like, what are you guys, what? So it really gets to open that side of it up and really tell people like, hey, I get to help everybody when it comes to their finances, whether it's life insurance and annuities for more of that protection piece, or we're doing retirement planning, or maybe we have both of those in play. And now we want to do the investing fund side and get, some individual investments going and really build up a wealth management. Whatever that looks like, I get to help people with, which is amazing. But then again, like I said, I'm always going to fall back to that fraternal side and say, that's really what I feel like we do is building the community, whether it's matching funds for fundraisers or community service projects, food drives, park cleanups, whatever it is that we might end up doing. Sometimes it's just a social event, just let's get the community together. Like let's be a community of people here together. So that's always going to be my fallback. It's like, yes, I do finance and I love that piece of it. The financial education is a big passion for me because I didn't have a lot of it. I had a very basic, here's your employer retirement plan, make sure you contribute to it kind of, and so that's always there and that passion piece. But the fraternal side and giving back to the community is always top of my mind.
Awesome. And we have a comment from Maya. She says, Mandy gives the best, most helpful advice. She's a true educator. So that's a nice compliment. Thanks for chiming in there, Maya. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
So Modern Woodmen has been around for like well over a century, right?
Yes. 1883. I love the little story because again, it's that whole, what is Modern Woodmen? But it was a small community of labor workers who just knew that it was a dangerous position that their families were working in. And they said, hey, we need to do something. So if something happens, we can still support the family and the family's not just left to nothing. So they really started an insurance company without realizing that that's what they were starting. Like that, they were just a community who kind of built that off of trust of like, hey, we're all going to pool our money together to make sure that these orphans and widows are taken care of, and that's what really started all of it. And then it's just grown into so much more.
Awesome. Well, we have a little banter because Parker says, whoa, Maya, you never said anything that nice about me.
Oh no.
Parker's keeping track, Maya.
we got a little competition going here.
Yeah. So what makes your organization different from other financial service companies?
Yeah. I think like I said, the fraternal impact is definitely a big piece of it. But it's also the personal touch. I don't cold call. I don't buy leads lists. I don't like that side of it. And I know people do it and it works wonderful for their business, but I'm more on the personal side and I build my business off of referrals. So that's really, I think that's the biggest piece is I want that personal connection. I really do want, hey, I've worked with Mandy, like Maya said, hey, she's done this and she's helped me and my family, let her help you and your family. That's really my biggest part of it. I really do like having that personal connection and because I want the community involved, right? So I want to know who I'm working with. What are you passionate about? What organization do you work with? Do you volunteer? And if you do, maybe we can work with them. We can partner with them. So I like to have that personal connection just so we can really get that community building going.
Yeah, that's amazing. And what are like your favorite kind of clients or what type of clients do you work with most often?
Most often families and small business owners. My favorite are people who don't have nothing started. we're starting from scratch. We haven't done anything. They don't know anything. They don't even know where to start, because that's where my education side comes in. That's where that piece comes in, where I get to say, hey, let me show you how to make this work. Okay, we don't have anything. Let's put together a plan. What's your goal? How do we get there? Let's make it happen. Or just someone who comes in and it's like, hey, I thought I had a plan, but I'm lost, and can you help me? It's really that, those open, honest discussions is really what I appreciate the most, I think, and really helping people understand what they can do, especially in the small business side. I also work with like 401ks and setting up retirement plans for small business owners, and giving them that recognition also of, you can do the same things and offer the same things to your employees and yourself that some of these other bigger corporations do, and do it with a tax break, or do it with, there's so many different things you can do. So it's really just that education piece, whoever I'm working with, and showing them, here's what your options are. And it might be more than what you think.
Yeah. So other than not having any plan in place at all, what are some of the biggest financial mistakes that you see people make?
I would say thinking that, the plan's just going to work and never changing it. Setting the plan, 25 years old, you're starting to put money aside, and you just leave it there, not making the changes when life things happen, even if it's just something as simple as a salary change, that can mean putting more away. That can mean we have to put less away so we can live a little bit more. So it's really just not sticking to the plan, or not adjusting the plan, I think, is one of the biggest mistakes. I think is, life changes every day. We all know that, and it changes so quickly. So I encourage annual reviews. I tell people when they start working with me, it's like, okay, if we do this, you're stuck with me at least once a year. Are you still going to move forward? And it gets them to laugh, but it's also my way of saying, like, I'm not going to leave you hanging. Like, this is it. This is once a year. Let's sit down at least and reevaluate that. I have some clients who, hey, can we sit down once a quarter? Yeah, absolutely. Let's sit down and look at stuff that, make sure the investments are working, make sure nothing's changed, whatever that looks like. So yeah, I think that is really just not reevaluating the plan, and really just, and as you get closer to that, end date, and we're going to retire, not sitting down with someone and saying, hey, things are changed in the next 3 to 5 years. Is this still going to work? Do we need to make changes? Because that's the biggest time where, things can happen and things can go awry, is within those last few years, not making sure you have that secure, safe side of it kind of in place as well.
Yeah, definitely. And then what's one thing that you think that every family should have in place regardless of their age?
Some type of emergency fund, whether that is the 3 to 6 months that most people suggest that you have in place, or if you can only do 1 month, if you can just do a car repair just in case something happens, it's having something in place so you don't have to pull from those bigger savings, or so you don't have to put yourself in a predicament. Sometimes getting there is just the plan. Sometimes that's when I sit down with people, that's the plan we make. It's like, hey, we're not going to start investing. We're not going to start anything. We need an emergency fund. So let's start for the next 3 to 6 months, start saving towards that and putting that away. So I will say just having that there, so you have something, you have some sort of safety net.
Yeah, definitely. Where does that number come from? 3 to 6 months? Is that just like, where does it come from?
Yeah, that's an industry standard. I will say that, but that is really, when you kind of break down and think about it, it's, let's all go back to the pandemic, right? Stuff happened. There was things in place by the government that we got some help, but not everybody got that. Not every business owner got that. Not every self-employed person got that. So having something in place, if you walk out the door and get in a car accident, you might not be able to make it to work the next day. So it's that recovery time that you can kind of usually put into place, whether it's physical recovery is usually about 12 weeks. Sometimes the, economic recovery takes up to 6 months. So that's why that 3 to 6 months is about where we kind of put that, just knowing that if something were to happen, whether it's you personally or economically, that's something's in place we can lean back on and fall back on a little bit.
Yeah, that's definitely so important. I've known people that haven't had something like that in place, and then an emergency happens and it's just such a scramble. And so
yeah,
I agree. That's very important. And I think, I was going to ask, like, when should somebody start planning for retirement? But I get the feeling it's like when you're young, right? Like right away, start planning right away. Do you find that younger generations are thinking differently about finances than previous generations?
Yes. And I always say, what my husband and I always say this, you do the opposite of what your parents did. So if your parents were strict, you're probably going to be a little bit more lax. If your parents saved money, you might spend a little bit more because you didn't see that, right?
Yeah.
So I almost feel like that's where we are now. The younger generation, and I'll throw my cousin under the bus. She's 16 years old. She came to me last year and she's like, Mandy, I need a Roth account. And I went, you know what? How, you know what that, like at 16, I didn't know what that was. I had no idea. Right. I started when I was 21, started my job and it was like, oh, retirement. That's cool. I'll do that. Free money. That sounds great. You're putting 3% in for me. Never once thought about anything like that before, so I just feel like it's, it's that younger generation is like, they almost hear, maybe it's social media, maybe it's just being able to hear things more openly. But I really do see, and, I have a internship that I run in the summer, and these college kids are coming in and they're telling me the same thing. They're like, oh yeah, I started, as soon as I started my job when I was 17, and I'm like, oh, okay. Now I feel behind. Like I didn't know that was, I didn't know that was an option at that age, but I feel like there's a lot more information floating around out there that that the younger generation can see it more, and they are more, hey, tell me more about this. I want to know, how can I make sure I don't have to work the rest of my life.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's great.
What do you think? I have 2 kids. A lot of people watching probably have young kids, but what do you think is the best way to set your kids up too, right? Because as a parent, that's a goal of mine, is how to create some of that intergenerational wealth, right? Like, be able to give something to my children so that they have a good start to their future. What, as a parent, can you do? And also, how can you talk to your children about finances to, encourage that they have that on their brain as well?
Yeah. I'll say I have 3 recommendations, and then something I also kind of do. So I don't have kids. I have younger siblings, nieces and nephews. That's where, when it comes to the younger generation, I put a lot of my effort into them and their getting their education when it comes to that, the financial side. I have, like my cousin, like I said, the Roth account. I think that's always a great place to start if they have a job. A lot of people who are small business owners can also employ their children. It's like, hey, go take out the trash at my office and sweep the floors. And that maybe that's $20 a week, but you can take like their annual salary and contribute that to a Roth account for them. And they can watch that grow. They're like, hey, you're working now to put money into an account, and they can see that grow. They can watch that. I encourage giving them give them the login and password. Maybe not show them how to do transactions on it, but let them watch the stocks, or give them a list of what they're invested in so they can watch it, Google it every day. That's one thing I really like, if someone has that ability to employ their children or something like that. Let's start getting something away. If you don't have that, there's a 529 plan, college education savings plan. Those are invested as well. And the kids can also watch those and see what happens inside of those. Yeah. That is another, there's been all kinds of changes with that. And it can be used for more than just college now. It can, if they don't use it for college, it can actually be turned into a Roth IRA. So there's all kinds of stuff that they can do with it now.
That was actually going to be my next question, because I think for a while, everybody was like, don't start a 529 for your kids. It's so limited. So talk a little bit about that. What can it be used for? Should people be doing it?
So much more now. It used to be, yes, use it or lose it or pass it on to a family member is really, those were your options. Like that's all you could do. But now it can be used for like I said, if it's not used at all and you still want to keep it with that kid, they can transfer it it can roll into a Roth account and have those contributions count towards a Roth IRA. It can be used for more than just tuition now. It can be used for, like, if their curriculum requires a laptop, it can be used to purchase their laptops. It can be used for, they just open it up, because I think that's really what had happened is so many people were like, well, we're not going to invest in this because it's limited. It's too, we might as well just put it into a brokerage account or something and be able to give them a little bit something more. So yeah, every situation is a little bit different with what people might want to do with it. But just because they've been able to open up just those few things and, expanding what can be used for, and also that really big option of like, hey, if you don't use it, let's put it into retirement instead. That was a major change that they made, part of the Secure Act. That was part of it. So they made that big change just happened this year. So
that's what I was going to ask, is where did that change come from? So Thank you. You're reading my mind.
I got you.
So we can switch gears a little bit, because obviously we're a chamber. We have a lot of small businesses. How can you help small businesses, and what can you do for the people that might be watching?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing, like I said, just the education piece when it comes to what you can and cannot do. A big thing that I've been doing and have offered to a lot of small businesses, and it's gone really well, is lunch and learns. So even if it's not, maybe you guys already have a retirement plan in place, maybe it's just not utilized, or maybe you want to see what else, give your employees a chance to see what else is out there that on top of what you offer in your retirement plan. Me, myself, my team, whoever is available can come in, do a lunch and learn, and really present and say, hey, your employer offers X, Y, and Z. Make sure you take advantage of it. Here's the benefits as to why. And if it's, hey, your employer offers this, but maybe you need this on top of it. Here's some other options that we can offer. And then again, like I said, the education for the business owner themselves. Are you taking advantage of the tax breaks? Are you looking at, what all of these changes Secure Act has come out with that allows you to do a little bit more for your business and put more into your business without really costing you as much. So really that education piece, and making sure people understand what their options are, is really where with small businesses, I really try to focus. We all want as many tax breaks as the multi-million-dollar corporations. So let's see if we can utilize them as much as we can as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I noticed you're growing your team. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, I am.
So what qualities do you look for in someone who could be successful in this career?
Ooh, that's my favorite question. It's my favorite because people think, oh, you're in finance, I need to know finance. But really, it's not. We provide education when it comes to all the licensing, how to start growing your business, how to go to chambers, I have people come to networking events with me so they can see how to get your name out there. But we go through all the licensing, we go through all of that. So finance is not even a piece of the puzzle when I start looking at somebody. I want somebody who's coachable, who's driven, who's ready to learn, has that entrepreneur spirit. And as you can tell, the community side is important to me. So I really do want someone who is, willing to do the community stuff, wants to go out, wants to give back, wants to make a difference, and really wants to, show that what we can do in more than just the financial side as well.
Yeah. And then what kind of training and support would you provide to like a new representative?
Yeah. We actually have a whole 12-week program that gets you through. So, and I say 12 weeks, that's if someone has no license, no experience, no nothing. And we get you through the life and health just to get you started with that side of it. And also the first financial exam, which is the SIE. So we get you through those two to start. And then during those 12 weeks, it's sitting on meetings with me. We start building your book of business. Everything that person makes goes for their book of business. So it's their growth. Let's get you going. Let's get you started. And it's, like I said, step by step along the way. Let's go to a networking group. Let's get your name out there. Do you have, is there something that you're involved in? Like I go to a ladies bunko on the last Wednesday of every month because that's something I like to do. It's fun. I like to hang out with the ladies there, but it's also me just networking and getting my name out there. So just kind of showing them different ways of like, hey, it doesn't have to be a card pushing, a business card pushing experience. It can be just having those conversations and building those genuine connections with people. It can be part of you still growing your business.
Yeah, absolutely. And that sounds fun. Bunko's fun.
Yeah. I did not know much about it. I will be honest. It was shown to me and I was like, oh, this looks competitive. And I feel like I can get a little competitive. So it is. And you should come to the group with me. It's Ladies Bunko and it's like 20 of us who just, it's intense.
Yeah, I did bunko with like a neighborhood group for a while and was surprised how much I enjoyed it. So yeah.
Yeah, this is my third. I went 3 months in a row because I was like the first month I was like, oh, okay, this is But yeah, it's just like I said, just different ways to get yourself out there and showing, just showing people like it doesn't have to be sitting down in a business meeting and here's what I do. It can be, let's just build a genuine connection and showing people that, like when you talk about the support, it's like, I'll go with you, I'll go with you and do these things. If it's, pickleball, sure. I've never played. I tried it once because one of my advisors was having a meeting and the person they were having a meeting with said, hey, do you want to play pickleball? And I was like, oh, okay, sure. So it's like you try different things. You do all kinds of things to, but really it's showing them different ways of, it doesn't have to be sitting in an office. It doesn't have to be that,
yeah,
that corporate feeling. Like let's go build genuine connections and the business comes with it.
That's amazing. Well, do you have any community events or anything else coming up that you'd like for people to know about?
I have one tomorrow, actually.
Oh, okay.
And this is just an educational event. I got together with a couple business colleagues of mine. We have a reverse mortgage expert and a estate attorney, and the three of us are going to do an educational event. It's going to be at Work Simple here in Westminster, and it's tomorrow, Thursday, from 5:30 to 6:30. So just a quick power hour. We'll have some snacks and stuff, but really just the educational piece to show people the different things that you might need to keep an eye out on as you go through the adulting that no one really talked to us about. So yeah, we'll try to we'll try to unconfuse it a little bit.
That's awesome. Well, we have just a couple minutes left. Is there anything else that we didn't touch on or that you would like people to know?
I don't think so. I think, like I said, just if there's community events that you guys know about or want support on, or if there's certain nonprofits that we might need extra support, I'm always interested in talking with people there, and really just kind of making sure we all have the support. There is one thing, we do a hometown hero is one of our events that we do for the community side, and that's always my biggest struggle, is kind of narrowing down and who to give to, because I feel like there's so many people I want to give back to. So just over the next few weeks, if anybody just thinks of somebody, they can shoot me an email, give me a call. I'm looking for anybody who goes above and beyond for the community. Whether it's a police officer and just does more in their line of duty, a teacher who goes above and beyond, someone who works at a nonprofit who just, makes the biggest difference, anything like that. That's something that I love to hear from the community and get that kind of vote from them. So I'd love to hear if anybody has anybody they'd like to nominate for that.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. There's lots of people that I can think of, and I think probably people watching can think too. So thanks for mentioning that. I have 720-964-2198.
Yeah, that works.
I'm going to put it in the chat so people have access to that and know how to get a hold of you. But thank you for joining me today. It was a great conversation, and thanks for everybody who tuned in with us, and have a good rest of your week.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. You too.
All right, bye.